Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Masks: A New Generation on CharismaToAC. We are playing our campaign Halcyon City Defenders. I have the good honor and pleasure of being your GM for these proceedings. I am Daniel, and with me today are everyone, comprised, of course, of, as usual, Joan.
Hello.
Of Brain.
Hello.
Of Thalmid.
Hello.
Of AJ.
No.
And last but not least, of Rasmus.
The milk has gone sour.
It has indeed.
This is so typical. The only one who takes this remotely seriously is Thalmid, who's sitting there being, all reasonable, speaking in his normal tone of voice, and the rest of us are going all silly.
Yeah, like
I have a Monty Python moment here. No, stop it. This is silly.
This is my normal speaking, bro.
I have long since moved past that point, right? For me, it has reached the point, like, wherever we're segueing into these things, I'm just, like, in my head, I'm just hearing Entry of the Gladiators in my mind over and over again. Like, until we eventually get into game, and even then, it's oftentimes that theme that's playing. So, hello everyone, welcome back to the show. Here we're playing Superhero Shenanigans in the Masks RPG by Magpie Games. Great, awesome game about self-imagery, self-identification, and all of it cast to a beautiful veneer of teenage superheroics and all the angst and burdens that follows from it. So, let's talk about what happened last time, and then we'll get into your character, shall we?
Daddy GM,
Yeah?
can I paint my room black?
You most certainly can. But only, and I mean this very seriously, young lady, only if you take responsibility and also paint a line of cars you see the same color.
You don't understand me.
Look, it was good enough for my generation, okay?
I want to paint mine bubblegum pink.
You will paint it black and you will like it.
Oh, you!
Oh god, that feels weird.
What's that band called? Something Citizens? They have like a really good cover of Painted Black.
Not sure. Not sure at all.
Damn it. Well, I'll find out. Anyway, yeah, I'll find out in the break. We can look that up. But yeah, so welcome back to Masks. To get back to what we were actually doing, let's talk about what happened last time. So it's been a while since we played, and just because I've like been preparing for this session a bit, I shall take it upon myself to do the recap of what happened, and you feel free to weigh in, all of you, if I'm missing something and you want to chime in.
Awesome. So
last time we started on the lot of you after your endeavors at Mountain Works Chemicals, in which you had saved a chemical corporation from an attack made by an elderly villain known as Wisecrack. And upon the time following that, you were trying to find out where he had gone, because when he had escaped Mountain Works Chemicals, he had taken with him Daniel Thornton, who is the best friend of Nightshade, and who is also on the receiving end of some unpleasant like biochemical toxin or like cocktail of some kind that's turning him into a like gray-skinned rage monster. So in your efforts to find this out, you made contact with a guy called the Cowl, or known as the Cowl, who's like the old superhero nemesis of Wisecrack. And yeah, you like went to the top of an old police station and activated the proverbial bat signal, summoning him hither. And after having a conversation with him, you were pointed in the direction of a company called VeriSign, which is a subsidiary of Graves Tech, owned of course by Deacon Graves, a multi-billionaire international conglomerate Saibatsu horrible person.
And also our version of Lex Luthor.
Correct, basically. You tried to infiltrate VeriSign, which didn't go quite as planned, necessitating several different approaches to solving the same issue of getting in undetected. And it brought you all the way through like the upper layers of the place, until you started descending through the compound. Now on the the reason you descended through the compound was that White Sparrow, your doomed character,
Woo!
had a vision. She had tapped into her phenomenal doomed powers to get an idea of where Daniel Thorson was, and found that he was kept way underground in some kind of facility that's hidden from the public eye. And so you went into Verisign and you started like going down, basically digging deep into the compound itself, where you inadvertently triggered like a mass outbreak of the rage virus on the upper floors, but otherwise kind of like slipped past with no issues to you, at least. And upon arriving in the lower compound, you were spotted. The alarm was raised, and you descended on a funicular down into the lowest part of the facility, where you're now at the level you're supposed to be to find Daniel.
We also learned what a funicular was.
Correct. That is a thing you learned. And there you were encountered and attempted to be waylaid by Verisign security, who, despite putting up a brave fight, has so far been on the receiving end of a firm spanking and has been systematically beaten back to a point that you can now actually, like, you've breached their initial strong point and can now actually proceed into the depths of this level of the facility, which is pretty ruined after having your bull character Diamond like speedball her way like into the walls and ceilings and floors, like with all the horrendous and calamitous impact that she's able to produce, basically starting a miniature underground earthquake that has unforeseen effects for your future endeavors. But that's where you're at right now. You are in a storage. I got a storage platform at the bottom of the funicular, with the entryway to the deeper facility laid bare in front of you. So that is where we shall rejoin you, but before we do so, let us take a moment to briefly step back and put the focus on our starring cast here, starting with none other than Diamond. Why don't you tell us, give us a quick rundown of your character, tell us who you are, and who will have the pleasures, whose company will have the pleasure of.
Labels and conditions and so on, like we usually do, I take it?
Exactly.
Yes, well, Diamond is the group's bull, short-tempered and not always able to restrain herself. She's currently got a freak of nothing, because while it has been very high for a while, her friends have managed to convince her that she's not that awful. Which is a pretty. I'd say that's an accomplishment in and of itself. Her danger is 3, which, I suppose has only been underscored quite heavily by how things went last time. She's got a savior of -1, a superior of 1, and a mundane of 0. Currently, the only condition she has is angry, which is, I suppose, extremely fitting, again, considering what happened and all. Let's see, what else? Should I go into such things as influences or such as well?
I don't think influence is necessary, but we should definitely acknowledge your special move, the Bull's Heart.
Yes, the Bull's Heart. That has not changed for a few episodes, at least. Her love is a friendship that she shares with Starlight. Fortunately, the two of them get along quite well. Manage to prop each other up when they get a little too freaky and weird and destroy everythingy. And her rival is an enabler relationship with Vigil, whom she definitely does not have a very good relationship with at the moment. She does not like him, and I believe the feeling is entirely mutual.
You have a classic case of the teenage rivalries going on here.
Yes.
You can't stand him, so therefore everything he does is supremely important.
Yes, pretty much. And it's also it's not just that everything he does is supremely important, but she sees it as her absolute moral imperative and duty to point out to him whenever he's a complete and fucking tit, which in her opinion is pretty much constantly right now.
Naturally. Like, I mean, what kind of rival would you be if you weren't on his ass at every opportunity?
Yes, but of course, let's face it, it's on a purely out of character level. She doesn't like him, but she is really projecting her thorough distaste of his mother through him. So there is a chance. I won't say it'll happen, but there is a chance that her rival is going to change from Vigil to Pala at some point.
Indeed, that's interesting. I look forward to seeing what's up with that. So, we'll move on from Diamond and instead ask some questions about Finn. So, Finn, why don't we take a moment here and talk about your character?
Oh, hello there. I'm playing the group's legacy. So the guy with the family, the guy with the clan. Yeah. So that's basically those are my struggles.
The guy with the really fucking obnoxious mother.
Hey, I haven't played it. So.
No, I know.
Direct complaints to different departments.
Look, Joan, okay? We don't choose our families, okay? I do.
Nice one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, so yeah, those are my struggles, and my labels are Freak 0, Danger 0, Savior Locked Up 2, Superior 0, Mundane 2. And anything important? Yeah, my conditions are afraid, guilty, and insecure currently. I possess influence over White Sparrow and Starlight, and and I had recently acquired an advancement since I was considering what to spend it on, and I chose to take another move from my playbook.
Sweet. What move?
And it's called Fight the Good Fight. And when you pull punches while directly engaging a threat, you can roll plus Savior instead of plus Danger. If you do, you cannot choose to impress, surprise, or frighten your foe.
That sounds really cool. All right.
That's it. Unless you want to.
No, that's super cool. So yeah, I think that's all we need. Nightshade, tell us a little bit about yourself, sir.
Nightshade is the Janus of the group. Currently, my freak is at -1, Danger 0, Savior 3, Superior 2, Mundane 1. I have the guilty condition marked. And as a Janus, I have certain obligations and responsibilities.
Yeah.
And those are my job. I'm a barista, my schoolwork, and my best friend who I'm currently trying to save.
Very good. Now, aside from that, you have also, as part of your character advancement, unlocked a series of triggers from the Beacon playbook. Now, would you run down what those are?
Yep. My drives are make out with a teammate, tell someone your true feelings for them, kiss someone dangerous, and punch someone you probably shouldn't.
Sweet.
And I did unlock an advancement last time, and I unlocked my moment of truth, so we might see that today.
Ooh, crazy. It's always cool, like the idea of like, oh, the moment of truth is a great mechanic. It's different, like for me, to adjust to like just thinking about that as a GM, because it's not like it's not a mechanic that I'm familiar with from role playing games before the playing masks. So it's really interesting to me, like that is there, and I'm always excited whenever someone is like, yeah, that moment of truth though. So cool stuff. All right. Next up is Starlight.
Oh, it's me. Can you even hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right.
was just complete silence.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I should validate it when you say stuff like that. Yeah, we can definitely hear you, or at least I can, and you seem to appear on the input audio as well. So why don't you tell us a little bit about Starlight?
Alright, the Nova with cosmic powers you can't really control. Obviously, she's a Nova. Duh.
Of course.
She has a Freak of 2, a Danger of 2, Savior of 0, Superior of 0, and a Mundane of -1. It has been lower, surprisingly enough, but now it's there. And she has 2 conditions marked, Guilty and Hopeless.
There has also
She's
been more of those.
She has been hopeless for quite a long time now, I might add.
Well, you know, there's always a world out there that you could try to lean on, seek some validation, and so on. No, it's just a question of do you put yourself out there, which is of course the crux of the things.
Anything else I should add?
Oh, that's a good question. You have basically all of your Nova powers unlocked, so you have quite the suite of abilities to you. Yeah, no, I think that's good. Yeah, that's Starlight. And don't feel bad about your cosmic powers that you cannot control. You're all teenagers. None of you can control your powers.
Yeah, but some, when they can't control it, they make a fart. And it knocks people out. And then there is the ones who make the world implode.
Yep. And such is the way of things. We're not all the same, and yet somehow the world finds ways to make sure we never forget we are. All right. So, White Sparrow, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes. Well, White Sparrow is, of course, the Doomed playbook, as mentioned earlier. And now that she's finally unlocked her first Doom track powers, she might actually start being doomed a little sooner. Because that was a slow haul until she unlocked that. Her labels are Freak -2, Danger -2, Savior +3, and I'm going to look that there if I ever get the chance. Superior 2, and Mundane 2, and she has no conditions. She has quite a lot of influence, on the other hand. She has influence over Nightshade, Vigil, our substitute teachers, Starlight, and Diamond.
Sweet. And as a Doomed character, there's some stuff that is anathema to you, that if you do it, will advance your Doomed track. Could you tell us what that is?
Yes, that is specifically harming innocents and openly talking about the fact that I'm doomed. So I can't actually tell anyone. And it sucks.
Very cool.
Well, not for me, but for Sparrow.
Of course. Like, we enjoy the drama. Enjoy watching her squirm.
Exactly.
Alright. So, those are our beleaguered cast of lovely teenage individuals. And, yeah, we know our situation. So, unless anyone has any questions or something they want to bring up, let's just dive into it and see what happens on the lower levels of Verisign Incorporated. So, we flip open our newest issue of Masks, and yeah, we have like an establishing shot of an evening time, of evening time Halcyon City. Everything seems peaceful. Everything seems tranquil. And then, like on the next panel, it's just like a cracked chrome wall and like a partially collapsing tunnel. There's like a red light, like a red alarm signal, just like showering the room in like this opaque redness. And there is a klaxon going off, like the alarm is blaring throughout the facility, contrasting being a stark contrast to the calmness of the above world. We focus in on the world deep below the surface, as a lot of you continue to advance into the facility. And yeah, we see you standing as you do amidst like a heap of rubble and on like the forms of a couple of unconscious security guys, while in the slowly lowering fog of the encounter, like the dust that is starting to settle like in the deeper tunnel. You can like hear the murmured shouting of the distant shouts of like more security personnel like running either further away or like rallying or doing something. There's a lot of like noises going on down here presently. But yeah, you're like, you have a moment to yourself here at the foot of the funicular, to find out what you're actually gonna do. And so I leave it to you to tell me what's up.
Oh, well, I think, seeing as she's the one who caused the majority of the damage, Diamond is probably, I wouldn't even say bent over. She's sort of hunchbacked while holding a security guy by the scruff of his uniform, in each hand, an unconscious body in each hand. Just standing there in the darkness with dust and debris everywhere around her, and the only thing that you can really see is the outline and the red dots that makes up one of her eyes.
You're posing for like an 80s power metal band poster. Like
Pretty much, yes. A hairband.
Exactly.
think Manowar here.
Exactly, right? Like
oh, the horror.
Warriors of the world.
Oh God, please don't.
Alright. So yeah, that's you. You're basically like still like shaking the battle senses off you, right? Being like, okay, shit.
She's not actually trying to shake them off. She's angry.
Yeah.
She's still got the angry condition. She's absolutely in the grip of rage at the moment.
So what does that mean for you now when you're like out of things to punch? Like, you're still angry though. So
it
now
means
what?
I'm looking for something else to punch.
Well,
harder than before.
Well, I can tell you in that case that there is a way forward. That is now like it was well lit at some point. Now the lights are flickering and there's like a gas vent that's just like become like a permanent torch, like showering flame into the hallway. But there is that way, and then there's the way behind you, and then like of course I would be remiss if I didn't mention that there is of course a bunch of like annoying teenage friends right here you could also punch.
She does probably let the red dot linger a little too long on Finn, but she doesn't actually do anything. She just, she takes these two already unconscious guards and just, lifts them up, so and just hurls them down the hallway. And not in any outright attempt to break their necks or anything. She's discarding them like they were so much, basically like there was so much rabble.
All right. So I have a question for you as the player then. Diamond isn't throwing them with the intent to cause injury, but you then, like you, my good player, are you making Diamond throw these people with the intent to cause injury?
No.
Because she could totally do that.
Oh yeah, she could, but she's not. They're insignificant. They're no longer important. She just wants to get rid of them more or less, like you would a rag doll.
You're throwing them on the pile of defeated foes.
Pretty much, yes. And if that means one of them breaks a leg, that doesn't. That's as it is. Okay. She's not trying to kill them. That's the point.
All right, no problem. So yeah, they go in the pile.
Yes.
And yeah, now you are well and truly out of things to punch.
The only thing that she can that the others can hear coming from her is just between her teeth, a grinding sound from her teeth, which is literally it sounds metallic, no question about it, and just two words. In the vein of the great Bill Goldberg, she will just sneer at everything and go, "Who's next?"
What about the rest of you? You have all like arrived to witness the after effects of the bash that happened down here, and you lot like arriving on the scene can definitely like spy that like something's probably up with Diamond presently, right? She's not on her best of days the most chillax person. she's definitely like tussling with some general anger issues, but it seems to have compounded at this point. Something is wrong.
I think as we arrive there, Nightshade just calmly walks up and stands in front of Diamond and is like, get it under control. It's done. You need to move forward.
There is probably just a moment of where she is contemplating whether it is, whether I'm not going to hurt him. I'm only going to punch him a little bit, sort of thing. But
Yeah.
but she clearly she does. She just looks at him and growls, but she's not. She doesn't hit him or anything.
The funny thing is, Nightshade's probably the only one who could take a punch from.
Yes,
Diamond.
probably is. But she doesn't. She just narrows her eyes slightly. The snarl does not leave her face. There is no question that she's not. She doesn't, to use his words, have it under control.
Mm-hmm.
But she's also not about to. She's not about to bring the building down on everybody else's head.
All right. So, Nightshade, when you spy that your words have, if not dissipated her anger, then at least like put her in a place where she seems ready to move forward with the rest of you. What do you do as the recently appointed leader of this group? Though I guess not by popular vote, more like by
by acclamation.
By Vigil opting out.
By acclamation.
I think Nightshade just like does a dramatic cape flip and then just continues walking down the hallway.
Yeah, of course, like low angle shot, turn around.
And then he walks away in almost in slow motion from a frog's perspective. Yeah,
definitely. Like it's the picture of like all of you moving forward, right? And like with the prominent like Nightshade taking charge, being like forward. And so yeah, you start into the facility. The entire thing, like the lower facility that you're on right now, is of course like, at least here in the beginning, is just wrecked to hell. Like there is not a wall, not a section of the structure that is not cracked, dented, or bent out of shape in some manner or respect.
What can I say except oops?
Like a single piece of like bent out of shape metallic hallway, there's like some white lettering that's once upon a time like spelled the letter Lab 5, and now it's just like turned and it just says like LA or something like that instead. Like there's nothing like this. Yeah, the place is thoroughly wrecked, and as you move forth down here, you move through like angular hallways of flickering lights, and it doesn't take a long time before you like come to realize that this is like kind of a labyrinthian place, and you're not super duper sure where to go. So as the person presently like moving in the front of this particular pain train, Nightshade, what do you do when you reach the 5th intersection of hallways where you're like, I didn't know they made 6-way intersections. Like...
And it's not like a labyrinth in the true sense to where, it's just walls and then there's air above it that we could rise above, right?
No, it's definitely like everything here serves a purpose. It's just very complex, right? Like
okay.
You're definitely you're in a like an ultra high tech laboratory. And from what you've seen so far, like, though admittedly everything gets more and more complicated and more sinister the further in you go, but even at this point there's like some clear warning signs that you're dealing with some sick shit, right? Like there is you walk past like a section of the wall that is not as affected by the partial cave-in or like underground earthquake that has happened, and there's like squares of orange light, like squares of orange with like a skull and crossbones on it, and like a sign for like biological hazards and so on.
I think Nightshade turns to Sparrow and just asks, did your vision give you any insight into navigating this place?
Well, that's a good question. Let's ask our GM.
So you definitely have a clear sense of where Daniel Thornton is. Beyond that, do you reckon that you would like know the way through the facility, or do you think it like the scope of your power in this case is like, where is he? He is below us. He is like, I know like what elevation he's at. I know that he's like in that away, but like doesn't necessarily provide you with an overhead map. What do you think? How does your power manifest for you?
I think if she closes her eyes and focuses, perhaps it's like there's a slight tug in her chest towards the direction she that might be right.
Yeah.
Kind of intuitive, kind of, but yeah.
Yeah, I can definitely see that, especially since it's like you're still in the heat of the moment. It's really it's not been that long since you had the vision at all, right? Like you still feel the thrumming of this unfamiliar power like coursing through you. And yeah, you can kind of like just reach inside with a brief moment of introspection and touch it, and much like plucking a string hanging somewhere in the suspension of your being, you can kind of follow the vibration in a certain direction.
Yes.
So yeah, you turn to like look at you turn to look at White Sparrow, and yeah, Sparrow, you see your leader's gaze. You see Nightshade like looking at you with the classic raised eyebrow of a guy who doesn't know what to ask, and doesn't really know the words to ask the question. So what do you do? Like as you do this, you feel like a twinge leading in a certain direction.
Yeah, she, as I said, she closes her eyes and focuses on that, and then she opens them again and points that way. But if we keep running into intersections, I might have to do it a few times.
That's fine. If we run into any more, then we can stop for you to check.
It's going to take a while if we stop at every intersection, but
it could take longer if we navigate without any sense of direction, though.
That's fine. That just means we'll have more security guards.
And Nightshade, I guess, turns in the direction that Sparrow pointed and starts taking off down the hallway.
Cool.
Sparrow follows.
Yeah, so as you continue throughout the facility, the next place we kind of see you arrive at is it seems to be a hallway much in the same venue of what you have already passed through, except it expands in scope and becomes like the hallway opens up into a like larger scope, long stretch of a room, with the sides of the walls all seeming to be set in these like large panoramic thick glass windows. And on the inside of each of these windows, there is an almost X-shaped like ellipsoid metal pod with a greenish tinted glass window, in which you can see naked humans with air filtration masks on, like hovering in suspension, while like little bubbles seem to flit up through the liquids surrounding them, and it's like a two or three story like broad ass hallway, like almost hexagonal, like as a truncated hexagon basically, that it just has like these like wall to wall like sections of like these little glass cells with pods in them.
What is that?
This can't be good. And so I think Nightshade kind of like wanders up to the closest one and just kind of peers in to get a better look at what's going on.
All right, so you can definitely like just like I can tell you what you see, but it also sounds to me like perhaps you are trying to make a move here.
Indeed, I want to assess the situation.
All right. Well, in that case, let us have you assess the situation. Why don't you roll me a superior test?
Oh, man.
Oh, dear. Okay, so this bad news, whatever this is. All right,
Yay,
so
potential.
I know exactly what this is. So yeah, mark potential, of course.
Well, the night starts well, roll-wise.
Indeed. You look into the pod and you're like, you kind of like have to squint for a while because there's like this heavy this heavy surge of bubbles just as you come to look at it, where you're kind of like, what is behind that? And as the bubbles dissipate, you have to like take a reflexive step back as you realize that the person in the pod is not fully formed, and it's just like this like creepy, macabre like torso of a person growing into like a contraction of flesh and then like bone jutting out like at the hip, seeming to like move with kind of like a slow life of its own, hanging in this pod. And and like you kind of like have to step back and away from it, like turn away from it. And as you do so, you inadvertently like look across the room and spy a different chamber with the exact same kind of pod, where for a moment you're just like, oh god, no, I don't want to watch that. But then you see something that looks very familiar to you. Like there is something beyond the glass in that pod that is just like, it calls out to you and like is immediately familiar, though you need to get closer to have a good look at what it is. And yeah, you can mark afraid, because this facility is dank, nasty, and not at all welcoming.
Alrighty. And when I notice the other pod, I definitely start kind of moving towards it to see what is in it.
So as you approach the other pod, we get like the slow build up, right? We get a top down shot of the relative darkness of this hallway, lit in the cold blue light coming from each of these cells, casting like this very hard column out into the room as you're approaching, and you being basically like half lit by it. And as you come closer, we have a largely blue lit picture of your face, looking with probably startlement, probably shock. But feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. Like looking through this, like looking through the glass, and then there's the flip around reveal of what's inside, and you see the naked form of Monica LaFay, inside the pod, almost fully formed.
I like turn back and shout at the team to get over here.
What is it?
It's your
What?
transfer student.
Isn't that Monica?
It will be
In the flesh.
when it's done growing.
Damn it, Brain.
It doesn't have the like. Its hair isn't styled as elaborately as hers is. It's not wearing makeup, but it's like unmistakably Monica.
It certainly looks like her, but it doesn't look like she's quite done growing.
What is
So-
she?
Are they
Clone? A copy? A 3D print?
the other tank over there had I guess a person forming. Are they how many people in the city are they cloning? Or growing in this case?
Can I break the glass, please?
Do you think she'll die if you do?
The real question is it really a person?
That's that's exactly my thought. That is not a person. That's an abomination.
So
Well-
I want to turn that around on you for a moment here, Diamond, because it's a curious conversation here. So as Nightshade is saying, like, is it even a person? And you're being like, no, it definitely isn't. Like, you've been on the inside of something not that dissimilar from this thing.
Yeah, that's why she's saying it.
In this moment, are you feeling absolutely assured of yourself in this?
No, she is. She feels pretty sure of herself. The point is, she doesn't, generally speaking, see herself as human. She just wants to be.
Interesting.
She sees herself as something less than human
All right.
because of what's been done to her. That's why she talks about being built. If you remember.
I do. Right, yeah, so don't let me detract from the scene.
No. I understand why you ask. It's definitely a matter of pot calling kettle very black here. But yes, that's definitely how she reacts and looks at the others, balls up her fist, and says, "Shall I?"
Before you do anything, let me check if it has a mind, because...
Fair.
And, well, Sparrow puts a hand on the glass and extends her senses to sense if it does indeed have a mind.
Very interesting. So, yeah, that sounds like a cool thing. Why don't we have you roll to see if you can do that? Roll to unleash your powers and extend your senses.
I suck at that. Why do all you old people have to make me feel like less of a freak?
Because you're not a freak. But you
Damn
might
you.
actually fail. See? Mark potential. Mark potential.
Wow.
Okay, so... okay. You mark potential. And as you extend your... you want to, like, extend your senses in there. You have a realization, right, like that... first of all, to do this, you cannot like do it from this distance. You need to like be in there. You could probably do it like through the pod, but you can't do it from like out here. Your powers are not yet that finely tuned that you can extend them.
So I can't do it through the glass.
Yeah, you need to like have Diamond get you through the glass first if you want to make sure that this thing is actually sentient, or like if you care about the thing you seem to care about.
Actually, in the meantime, Finn just pulls out his phone and takes a picture of the thing.
Dude, she's naked.
Yeah, I think he
Why
might.
do you think he took the picture?
Or she's not fully grown, you git. She might want, but it might be an idea to show it to the actual Monica, because Oh well, what do I know?
Daniel, this has a
just the
very
janitor.
Cadmus feeling.
Well, thank you.
Xenomorphs everywhere.
Right. So yeah, what's the idea here, White Sparrow?
Oh, so that's all that happens then.
Yeah, for now.
I mean, I rolled a 1, so I just wanted to make sure.
Oh yeah, so I'm telling you, like, this is like you can activate, you can go in there and like touch upon this thing with your powers, but you need to be in there.
I have to touch her to feel it.
Well, at least you have to be closer.
That's fine. Diamond curls up her fist and pulls back, and I'm going to give everybody a chance to stop her first, because otherwise she's just going to punch the glass down, so that our beloved White Sparrow can test if this thing has a mind.
Let's see if we can find a computer to power it down first.
She gets a look from Diamond, the lines of you never let me do anything fun.
If she is alive, the sudden change of conditions might kill her.
Stop making sense.
Sparrow looks around for a computer or something similar.
We'll let you hackerjack the computer.
Oh no! Oh god! Don't start thracking at it with a hatchet. Okay. So yeah, there's like scattered throughout this structure. There's like tiny computer panels on the wall with like touchscreen displays. There are like analog data banks positioned center room, kind of blooming out like little flowers.
Is there anything on the pods? Because that might be the easiest immediate access.
There are screens next to the glass, next to the panoramic like outer view glass that seems to like monitor the conditions of the thing in the pod. So there's like a Vitruvian man looking like a heads-up display with a bunch of like orange circles giving off different readings of different body parts. Okay,
is it a touchscreen?
Yes.
Oh. Then I try fiddling with it to see if I can turn off the thing.
All right. You good at this?
I'm normal teenager good at this.
Okay,
Push
so
all the...
So answer is no. Give me a roll plus superior.
I'm having grown up with with technology good at this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is
Have
not
you-
an iOS in it. This is not an iOS display.
Exactly.
I mean, it's
What's-
Oh no, they run Linux.
it's not an iOS display.
God.
It's more intuitive. But still, you definitely need to make the roll.
About to say, are you an expert at genetics and cloning? Otherwise, most of what's going to be on that screen is probably going to be complete and utter gibberish.
Well, that's not what I need to find. I just need to find a shutdown
You
button.
basically
Yeah,
need to
Those
like,
are usually quite similar, but was it plus superior?
yeah. You just basically you can't find like an actual like open the glass thing switch. So realizing
Hey.
that there we go. So you managed to do it, but with a catch here. Yeah, I know what that catch is. So you successfully like do it, right? You minimize the reading thing going on, and we see you like as you're interacting with it, it does the sci-fi bollocks like hollow projector display, right? Like where it's like has like a holographic outer interface that you can pull aside. And as you further interact with it, we have like the picture of the Vitruvian Man thing being moved sideways, hovering lazily midair as you interact with the screen itself. And you're able to power down the locking mechanism. Unfortunately, this was not your intent, I realize, but that's the fun of not rolling a complete success, is that you managed to open the door, but you also open the pod. The pod starts draining of fluid, and as the door slides open and you're able to enter, you hear like a hissing from the pod itself, and then the outer facade, like the door of it, so to speak, like starts sliding open, spilling greenish fluids out onto the floor.
I think at this point, because Diamond has the angry condition, I think at this point what she feels is, oh, right, I get it. You just wanted all the fun for yourself. She doesn't actually say it, but that's how she feels about it right now.
I think Nightshade moves in to catch the Monica whatever if she falls out.
Yeah. So like a tastefully shaded naked Monica falls out of the pod, being caught
Basically,
in.
basically, I think he catches her, but he is positioned in such a way that he strategically covers any naughty bits.
Exactly right. It's like strategic placement in the frame.
Yes.
And like so for some reason like this, I mean, this is not completely out of touch with what we described so far, but there's some like very deliberate chiaroscuro going on here, where there's just like very dark shadows on very deliberate spots. And yeah, then you catch the falling form of the unconscious seeming Monica. And like as you're looking at the entire thing, it's basically a fully grown person. Only like one of the legs seems to like be fully like start trying to fully form. It's not completely set right yet. It's like bent a little out of shape and seems like a kind of emaciated. But other than that, it seems fully formed.
Sorry. Sparrow hurries over to Money Clone and puts a hand to her
Money
forehead.
Clone. I like that
Delightful.
name.
So
I love that name.
Go on, Brain. I heard you.
Sorry, just a question. That's the only pod in the room?
Oh no.
Oh yeah, I would say Vigil would be like going around looking into the other pods.
There are
Well, they are-
tens of them in here.
Well, the closest ones.
Yep. And it's like you see like just as like a series of different people in various stages of being whole. Some of them like ickily so, like to the point that we don't like see them. We see them painted like in like as a foreground shot through the tank and out onto you, where we just have like this completely like black shaded twisted form that is vaguely human, but like just to imply the like grossness of what's in the tank.
Just a setup for later before coming back to what's coming on. He would just try to figure out like a pattern between them, like why they might be connected, like why actually these people.
Yeah.
He recognizes any of them.
All right.
I think I shout to Vigil to look for a database or anything in here
Cool.
that might have lists of names of people.
All right. So
Yeah.
do you respond to the call?
He just silently puts like thumbs up, like not even turning around, like looking at the pot.
All right. So we cut back to you guys like in the pod chamber, and you go over there to White Sparrow. You head over to Nightshade to psychically assess the Monica thing. And
The money clone.
Exactly. And here's where I get to have fun with that 1-year-old.
Oh boy.
Oh.
So you reach out and you take a moment to like center yourself and establish a psychic connection to the thing. And what happens to you is I think you find yourself in like what looks like almost like you're walking in like a giant nebula cluster, like in outer space, like this gas forms and like stars and like everything like looks weird and like nebulous around you, and you find yourself on like basically like a hovering rock road sloping treacherously like through the infinity. And all over there's like they seem to like branch off into different places. And you have nowhere to go but forward, of course. So hovering through the mindscape of the money clone, as you like to call it, you follow the road to like kind of like a natural conclusion. You begin like hearing like faint echoes, almost as if carried by like ethereal winds, like leading you to a destination where you're like there might be like coherent thought here. Also, you don't know the way out, but. You move forward until you like reach what you think to be the right place, and as you interact with this like flowing, almost like green swirling mist, to try and pierce it to see what lies beyond, like what state is this person in. You find yourself like thrown through the cloud and like into like a different feeling around you. Instead of a feeling of nothingness around you, you're suddenly like pressured, like as if like there's an external pressure on you. There's like this feeling of sliminess, as if you're moving in jello, and as you kind of like have to reach your hands out and like try to like flail to get your bearing on where you are, your hands touch the inside of like a metal shell, and as you move your hands around, you wipe some detritus off of a glass screen, and you're inside her pod.
Blech.
And like you realize that you're like breathing through a tube stuck down your throat, and through the haziness of the glass, as panic seems to set in, you see a form that you've never seen before. Like you see a person, and for some reason this person like horrifies you to your core, and you're compelled to pull away. And as you do so, you seem to fall back out of this pod, like just like fall out of the experience. Catch yourself as you're stumbling backwards. You like have to turn around, and as you do so, you like fall into another such cloud, and you see like a dimly lit apartment somewhere. Like you have no clue where you're at, but you're just like suddenly thrust into some kind of apartment at nighttime. It's like barely lit at all, and as you gain your bearings, you turn around and you see the main floor of the apartment has like a bunch of women in robes sitting in full lotus in a circle, chanting into like a basin placed on the floor that has like this deep purplish liquid in it that's like wafting up with like almost like a sentience of its own, and they're like just like chanting some kind of horrible sounding nonsense, and as they do so, the thing seems to take on life of its own, and it moves, like it expands its form, and it grows like feathered wings, and turns from this like deep violet into the darkest black, and then it turns its eyes on you and like looks directly at you. It screeches, and you are thrust out of the mind of this clone, with like this like feeling of having the claws of your darker self of Black Raven like tearing at your spirit as you fall out of her. Mark your doom track and a condition of your choosing.
Yeah, I'm going to mark afraid.
Yeah, that was scary.
That is all the creepy. Plus creepy with a side dish of, you guessed it, creepy.
Real plus creepy.
Yeah.
I think as she falls away, Sparrow screams, and I think she falls to the floor. And for a while, she's screaming because it takes a while for her to figure out she's back in the real world.
So, like, at this point, like, most people are standing there doing stuff, and the only one basically, like, in a position to interact with you as you start flailing is White Sparrow. Not White Sparrow, sorry. As White Sparrow starts flailing, is Starlight. So, Starlight, you're, like, conveniently close, and, like, probably, I don't know what you're expecting, but I'm guessing you're expecting White Sparrow to, like, do what she does and like interact with the psychic aspect of whatever this thing is. But then suddenly, as she has the reaction as Rasmus described, right, she starts screaming and like almost like throwing herself backwards from it. What do you do?
I don't know if I should just move away from her to get out of her trajectory or actually try to catch her.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think Starlight does in that situation? Like, does she surge forward or does she pull backwards?
Alright, I forgot I actually forgave her. She's gonna catch her.
Alright, yeah, so you managed to like catch White Sparrow and yeah, you I don't know like what White Sparrow does beyond like you feel free to take that interaction, you guys.
Well, for a while, it's mostly just panicked flailing.
So do you just like hold on to her, or do you try to calm her down, or what? What's Starlight's reaction to White Sparrow? Like clearly having a fit of something.
Well, hold on to her so she doesn't hurt herself.
Right. So you just like hold her tight and like make sure she doesn't get out of control. And eventually do you return to your senses, White Sparrow?
Yeah, after a few moments, she realizes she's back in the real world, and she looks around. Starlight?
Deep silence.
AJ, you here? Oh, I think we may have a Discord hiccup.
Oh, right.
Very well.
All right, so I'm just gonna poke her, let her know I can't hear her.
She just dropped out.
She dropped.
All right. Internet connections.
That happens.
There she is.
Okay.
I can hear you, AJ. Speak to us.
Hi.
Hello.
Hey.
So, Starlight, upon White Sparrow regaining her senses, she like looks up on you, perplexed, and like just asks, like, Starlight? And yeah, what do you do?
Who else should it be?
I have no idea. I think I was seeing memories. I was inside the tank and there was, I don't know who, but it scared me. And a room of people chanting. And by now I should probably ask, did I get a sense of this thing actually having a mind, or is it just...
It definitely has like it definitely has memories of some kind, but everything about like your experience in there seems disjointed and messed up. Like there is not a complete thing in there. It is a throw together tumble of like of separate images that doesn't make much like connotational sense put together, but each of them like definitely has like clear emotional impact and they're basically like you've touched upon trauma, which implies like something, but they seem to not be connected by like strand of experience. Instead, they just like exist as partial things.
I think, like the rest of her, the mind is still forming. Wow, that was unpleasant. She's still shaking.
Yeah. So, I'm curious, like as this happens, the rest of you, Diamond and Vigil, specifically, like Vigil, you were asked to like could go and interact with the computer system, and as you like do so, and like you start to like you crack your knuckles and like, okay, I'm gonna make this baby sing. Then suddenly White Sparrow just screams, like, and like you hear this like this panicked wail like roll throughout throughout the room. Like, do you just continue to labor away at the computer, or do you return to where you're at? Like,
Well, he looks up from the console, and immediately, and like looks towards Source, but seeing that nobody attacked, she looks conscious. It's like, okay, they got her. goes back to his task.
Sure. And Diamond?
I think Diamond right now is not in a place where she's really capable of reacting to much outside stimulus, unless somebody is literally in her face and telling her something or speaking directly to her. At least she is constantly. I think she might actually have picked up something heavy and metal, heavy and made of metal, so that she can just bend it over and over into, take a steel girder and bend it into something the size of a D6.
Delightful. So yeah, we just find you like breaking the landscape in general frustration.
Yes, she's not really in a position where she can be of any use to anyone, except if they specifically directly address her and talk to her, then she can probably focus long enough to do something. But other than that, it's grr arg.
All right. So we'll have a moment, like we'll take a break in a moment to see what's happening between Starlight and White Sparrow, and like what happens in the after effects of this thing. But before we do so, let's acknowledge Finn's interaction with the computer by having you roll a plus superior. And see what you manage to scavenge up as you mull over the computer system.
It's not a move, isn't it?
I guess you could count this as this could definitely be assessing the situation.
Yeah. And at -2.
All right. So this is gonna have the like you make your assess the situation move. There is also going to be an additional effect because this is not because you're interacting with the computer system. But yeah, you may ask me a question.
Okay. What here can I use to identify the? What here can I use to find the list of?
The list of the people in this facility you're in.
Well, list of subjects.
Right.
Or a list of like sources for subjects.
Okay. Yeah. Definitely. You would need a master password. You basically need to have like the clearance of a top researcher, which is what it's defined as in the system. Either that or like technician privileges, right? You'd like tap around away at the computer and you realize that like, yeah, okay, the thing is there, and you're like access list of subjects, and it's like beep beep beep, access denied, and like bids you enter your biometrics, and as you do so, it's like and it actually doesn't bid you do it. It just like says access denied, requiring clearance of, and then it like has a designation for a level of clearance. Stand by for biometric reading, and a little like bluish lamp scans you, like does a foot to face scan, right, like an up and down elevator scan of your person, and a little piece of red text on the computer screen flares up. It's like, person not recognized, switching to Alpha security protocol, and we hear in the background, we see like up under the roof of this place, a series of lamps that were just like hanging there, providing like a soft light, starts like spinning with like this yellowish glow, and there's a hiss from metallic doors sliding open as we see the silhouettes of something menacing and not entirely human move out from hidden compartments with the metallic clanking on the metal walkways, and that is where we shall take a break, and then we'll be back with more stuff in just a little moment. So just hang on, ladies and gentlemen, because we'll be back with more masks soon.